Hey guys, I'm Ethan Moore from Stockman Supply. I met David at a show, and he had saw me cutting bowl blanks, and actually cutting the bowl blanks in half. So he emailed me recently, and he kind of has forgotten how to do this, and he wants to make a Celtic knot pattern on the inside of his bowl blank with actually inlaying veneer. So I'm not going to do exactly that, but I'm going to do something the same process, but I'm going to do something kind of a little bit different that I've never actually tried before. So we're going to do an experiment on this video. So I have two bowl blanks here. I have a walnut bowl blank and I have a red oak bowl blank. Now if you look at these two bowl blanks, I have them all marked up and numbered into three different sections at 120-degree angles with some arrows. So these arrows, basically the idea here, before I get too far into this, I'm going to combine these two bowl blanks together in a Celtic knot cut pattern, and I'm going to do all this with the bandsaw and the little ripper and the angle base. Okay, so we got these two blanks. Now I have a hole from my round ripper. So these are, one side of the blank has a hole in it. The other side just has a small little center hole. So we're going to make sure we have these with the hole up so we know what we're looking at. So I'm going to put the walnut bowl blank in my little ripper first. I have the one section and the two section and a line in the middle with an arrow pointing up. I'm going to put this line with the arrow pointing up towards the sky in the claws of my ripper. Just like this here. So line it up, one claw back on the bottom here, one section of claws I mean, so about 3/8 of an inch in the bottom. And we're going to want that pointed straight up in the sky here. Now this does not need to be perfect, but the closer we can get this, the better this is going to turn out, I think. Again, I have no idea what this is going to look like. This is a square, just to make sure I have it lined up relatively square up and down here. So lock it up. I've never ever done this on 120-degree angles. I've done 90-degree angles before. Never done a 120, so we'll see what happens here. So I got that clamped in. Now we'll get this out of the way here. And I'm going to raise my guides here so I can get at this. A little bit more here. Okay, so next thing I want to do, I'm just going to set my track the distance I want it away from the blade. So you can see right now I'm not actually hitting the bowl blank. I have the angle base set at 22.5 degrees. You can do this at any angle you want and it'll still work. I just decided 22.5. So I'm going to slide this in, make sure that I'm into the bowl blank there. And actually, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit shallower than 22.5 because the diameter of this isn't going to quite allow it. No, we'll go right to 15. Lock that up. Again, this is a learning experience for me too here, so you're going to have to bear with me a little bit. Alright, so we got, I would say, about 3/8 of an inch there, about half an inch there. So I'm going to slide this in a little bit. Alright, that's going to be pretty close. Okay, so now that we have this on an angle with the between the 1 and the 2 pointed up, we are going to cut this. Okay, so now that we have the walnut blank cut in half, I'm going to put the oak blank in my claws and cut it exactly the same way as I just did. Now I have the oak blank in there, exact same way as I had the walnut set up in the ripper. So same distance from the blade, so now I'm going to cut it. Okay, so we got her cut. Now you guys can probably imagine what I'm going to do next. I got my two bowl blanks. I'll go up front here. Side down, that goes there, that lines up. So now I'm going to switch. So I got the holes the same side, so the two holes on this side. I'm going to switch these around. So I'm going to take the walnut off and switch it for the yolk. Same thing here. The next thing that we got to do is we got to glue those together. I'm not going to video the gluing process because you guys, anybody that's made a segmented churning bowl before, you know how to do that, just to speed up the video. So let me go glue this. Alright, so I got the two blanks glued up with the oak and the walnut combined in both of them. So we're going to do the exact same thing here. So if you remember from last cuts, I was cutting with the 1 and the 2, this line here facing up. Now if you look at these arrows, I'm going to rotate in the direction of the arrow. So we're going to have to make sure we rotate both bowls the same direction, or it's going to screw up the look. So we're going to have the 2 and the 3, this line facing up this time, with the little hole out, just like before. Okay, so same thing, just clamp it in. So what I've been doing with this square, couple things. I've been squaring up the log so that I got 90 degrees to the table, so you can probably see that. But also, I've got that ruler so it's straight up and down with my line. So that makes sure I got it pretty close. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the closer you can get it, the better it's going to look. So we are good to cut. So let's cut this here. Okay, so we got that guy cut in half. So we'll put the other bowl blank in the exact same way. So now we're just going to make the cut on this guy here. Okay, so we got them glued up. So now, just like before, we just did between the 2 and the 3, we're going to go between the 3 and the 1. So let me clamp them in there. So we got her clamped up between the 1 and the 3, and we are good to go here. Okay. One more cut. Alright, so all of our cutting is done. So before we churn it, let's get one last look at what it might look like. Okay, so there's our two pieces. Line them up and switch them. This will be new to me. I don't even know what this might look like. Oh, that's kind of cool. Alright, so before we churn it, we can get an idea of what it might look like. Now let's glue it up and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, so I got the bowl turned last night. So if we take a look at what it looks like, it's actually it's not really what I envisioned, but it's kind of got a neat look to it. So what I really like about it is if you look here, you notice that that piece of oak, you can tell it's all the grain matches up perfectly with this other piece here. Now that little line there, that's my my bandsaw cut. So unless I joint that, there won't really ever be a way I can get rid of that line unless you joint it in between every cut. So it's got, yeah, that triangular shape on the inside. Now, if I were to make it with a 90-degree angle rather than 120 degrees, that's square. Or if I go beyond that, if I go to a 60 or a 40, as long as it's a multiple of 360, you can make that many segments and get all sorts of interesting looks. And if you didn't want to have two blanks, you wanted a single blank, make the same cuts and inlay a veneer. Everywhere you see that there's a line, there would be a veneer joint. So it would be like a Celtic knot on the inside there. So we got one major problem though. I don't know what I should call this or what we should call this. I'm thinking disco bowl, but I'm not really sure if that suits it. If any of you guys have any ideas, email me at info@stockhamsupply.com or just comment on the video. And same thing, if anybody you guys have any questions about anything else, let me know. If you want to see future videos, please subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.